What is going on, everyone? We're almost done here with our position previews here for each Pirates minor league affiliate. We've knocked out Greensboro, Altoona. We, we did a written up one of Indianapolis over on Bucks on Deck. For our final, we're going to be taking a look at the Bradenton pitchers and hitters. We'll start with the hitters today, and then we'll get the final one will be on the pitching staff. Kind of like Greensboro, I don't think they're Greensboro obviously have Florentino once he's healthy. I think there are a lot of intriguing guys here on the Bradenton on the hitting side. Maybe not anybody that is a top 10 or maybe even a top 15 prospect just yet, but certainly some guys who could take, if they take the right step, could be of note in the system here. We're going to start with the catchers. Probably the most intriguing catcher will be Edgeline Perez. Was acquired in the David Bednar trade. Plate discipline is really good. Walked 84 times. Walked just as many times as he struck out. Although he only batted 204. There's no power, but that's mainly due to the fact that he doesn't elevate well. His ground ball rate was really high. So the biggest key for him is going to start getting the ball in the air a little bit. He's never going to be a big power hitter, but if he can kind of go gap to gap, and then with his patience and approach and stuff like that, almost kind of like maybe a Tamar Johnson, but behind the plate, kind of similarities as far as approach at the plate. Richard Ramirez, he's starting the year on the injured list, 20 years old, strong arm. I've watched complex games where he ended multiple innings with, I think there's one game where he ended like 3 innings in a row with his arm, like threw out 2 base stealers and then like a snap throw to first base, caught a guy leaning too far. So like the arm is fantastic. There's a lot of raw power there. So there's a lot of he had a 123 WRC plus and hit 276, 364, 428 with 5 home runs, 8 doubles in 45 games played with Bradenton. So there's some power there with the arm. The issue is there's a lot of swing and miss. So it's a little unfortunate he's going to start the year on the injured list. No word yet on really what's going on. We'll kind of monitor that and see how long he's out, because he's obviously a guy at his age getting ready to turn 21. You'll probably want to see in Greensboro by the end of the year. Catchers is probably the one position where you can kind of justifiably slow roll a little bit. So even if he doesn't get there this year, if he starts next year there, I believe he'll be just fine. Greensboro does have like Plaz and Carmichael there, so getting playing time there would be a little bit hard. So that's probably why he stayed back, on top of the fact that he was hurt. Luke Scherer, he was a undrafted free agent signing. Actually had a 122 WRC plus at the complex in 2024, but never really built on that. Last year he had 181, 323, 213. Not much power. Has 1 home run in his minor league career so far. A little versatile. He's played catcher. He's played first base. He played a little bit in the outfield. Pirates have had a lot of catcher depth in the lower levels, so just to kind of make sure that he stays in the lineup, he's kind of had to prove his flexibility and whatnot. And then the third catcher to start the year is going to be Samuel Escudero, 22 years old. I believe he was the one that's acquired years ago from Milwaukee in like the Troy Stokes Jr. trade. Didn't hit much, 167, 288, 233. Had a home run and a double in 25 games in the complex last year. Shifting to the infield, Carlos Caro, really good speed, lots of speed. Saw him play a little bit of outfield last year, kind of like he showed a little more, like his skill set probably suits the outfield a little bit more. So it'd be nice to see him maybe get a little bit of time out there, because he hasn't really hit much. He still hasn't hit much in low A. He's put up some pretty good numbers without power, obviously. At the complex, it just hasn't translated to the next level. Then we got Brent Iredale, 7th round pick out of Arkansas, 2025. There's a lot of 2025 college draft picks here. that that's going to start in Bradenton. We'll see how long that they're kind of there before they move up. But Iredell, 7th-round pick out of Arkansas. He'll turn 23 during the season. Played in 18 games last year after being drafted. Hit 214, 405, and 375. Actually had a 131 WRC plus. Little power there. He's been their first baseman in the first couple games and whatnot. And we got Dylan Palmer, 11th round out of Hofstra. He actually seemed really intriguing. There doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot of power. It doesn't look like, the stance and the swing. It's very short, very quick, so it's not really geared to hit for a lot of power. Going to be more of like a slap hitter. And but stole 3 bases, was hurt on the final stolen base attempt last year, missed the rest of the season, went 4 for 10 before then. So he's a second baseman. He'll be the probably more often than not be the starting second baseman there. Maybe with that kind of speed, maybe you give him a shot in like center field or something like that down the road. But next up we have Antonio Pimentel. Pimentel is interesting. He's 20 years old. He was a little bit older for the DSL last year, on top of the fact that it was also his 3rd year there. So usually those kind of guys are, you kind of like toss aside the results or anything like that. But he's someone who reportedly, like, he's made some notable changes that may have led to this. His OPS by year has gone from 545 to 626 to 1098. He walked almost twice as many times as he struck out, hit 385, 492, 606 with a 182 WRC plus. He was a guy that, obviously he was on the older side, so it would have been nice. So it's good to see that they're kind of jumping him up to Bradenton, because if he comes here and then he immediately starts, he kind of hits the ground running, then he's maybe he's right back on path to where maybe he is a potential fringe lottery ticket prospect. So someone definitely to watch to see if that kind of success that he had in the Dominican will translate to stateside. We have Eddie Renders. Eddie Renders was a funny story last year. Not really a funny story, but it was interesting because when I went down there for Bradenton, I went down there the start of the Florida Complex League. And at the time, Renders and Florentino were on the same team. And if you asked me who the most impressive player was on that complex team after a week there, I would have 100% told you it was Eddie Renders. And that's not saying that Florentino didn't impress me. You can clearly see the talent there, and he was the guy that I was really hyping up as a breakout guy in the organization. It's just Renders, the bat-to-ball skills were fantastic. Played some solid defense. You could see the raw power potential there. It just, it wasn't fully... he was going to need some time to, fill out and mature physically, and then you could kind of see the vision of where he could be at. But I do believe that his frame, his swing, the bat path, everything there screams like a 20 to 25 home run guy. It's just a matter of kind of filling out and reaching that and getting the ball in the air more. So after I left, he struggled quite a bit. Didn't put up the best numbers. Batted 208, 330, 275. Went 2 for 10 with Bradenton in a quick little cup of coffee he had there at the end of the season. Going to start there with Murph Gray, who I'm getting ready to talk about next. There, Renders has been seeing a lot of time at shortstop. So I imagine he didn't get the start on opening day because Jack Brannigan is down there on rehab. But I imagine him and Pimentel will probably be your primary shortstops for the Marauders, at least to start the season. And if Murph Gray is quick to move up to Greensboro, he'll slide back at third. And I imagine someone like Daryl Morrell or Johan De Los Santos, whoever's doing the better of the two, will kind of move up from the complex and fill that out. But finally, out of the infield, we have Murph Gray. Murph Gray was, if you followed Bucks on Deck last year, Like I think it started out as he has the cool first name. So when I started doing like my dive on the draft thing is guys to watch, I obviously had to add Murph Gray on there because of the name. Season goes on, 18 doubles, 18 home runs, 22 doubles at Fresno State. Okay, well, like the contact rates were insanely great, and it's just the more you dug into them, the more you kind of realize that this was a legit hitter. Like this guy was like a legit prospect. Pirates end up taking him with the 72nd overall pick, I believe it was, and then didn't get into any games last year. They kept him down in the complex, had him working with the hitting team to try to fine tune stuff and get things ready for this year. Was kind of hoping he'd make it to Greensboro out of the jump, but he's starting with Bradenton, get some time there. Hit a home run in his first game. Actually went 2 for 4 with the home run, and then like a single. And you kind of saw like the bat to ball skills there, kind of working for him to where he had swung and missed. It was a sword that it was pretty bad, but he adjusted. The pitcher threw another similar pitch. He adjusted and was able to make some pretty good contact and put the ball the other way for a base hit. So that's the kind of stuff you're looking for him. Obviously, like there might be a little bit of raw power there that you could unlock. I think the biggest question is going to be, will he be able to stick at third base? Certainly has the arm for it. We'll see if the range and stuff like that allows for him to stick there long term. Going through the outfielders, I can go through those pretty quickly. Eddie King, another 2025 draft pick, late round draft pick, hit 17 home runs last year at Louisville. Cannon Reeder, another 2025 draft pick, put a 108 WRC plus at Oregon State. Played a couple games at the end of the year with Bradenton, some under the hood data that was kind of like interesting that you kind of want to maybe see over like a longer period. He's starting the year on the injured list, so we'll have to wait to see him. Josh Tate, more of a defense first guy, made some really great plays in the 18 games that he played last year after getting drafted. Didn't hit too much, but the defense can kind of be the calling card for him. And then you got Estuar Suero. Suero's interesting. Like the raw tools have always been there. He's always been like an interesting guy, acquired from the Padres and the Rich Hill and Ji-Man Choi trade. I remember a couple years ago, the first year I went down to Bradenton, he hit a triple at the complex. And the way that he flew around the bases was honestly one of the most impressive showcases of like his speed that like I've seen of any fielder. Like he got, and a lot of it had to do with the long strides he had, but the way he made his way around the bases was just, it was almost like he was gliding. So the raw speed's there. There's raw power. It's just been a matter of making contact. Like they shut him down for a little bit, I'm guessing, to like kind of like fine tune his swing. And when he came back, he looked much better. Didn't really put up the numbers in Bradenton, but he showed some promise. There's notable improvements compared to before. So we'll kind of see if that translates into this year. Of course, he had an inside the park home run against Trader Savage. Hit the ball off the top of the fence there. Fielder didn't really play it great off the wall. Got by him, and there was a fantastic slide at the plate where he kind of like moved to the side to dodge the tag. So and that's the bring to the hitters. We got just the pitchers left, and the pitcher might be like the highest profile name that we're going to cover on this. So I guess we're kind of saving the best for last. We got a little bit of a taste. Seth Hernandez made his pro debut. We'll go into that a little bit in the episode. But as always, subscribe to Bucks on Deck Substack. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. The season's going. I've already started to cut up some videos from over the first weekend. And yeah. We'll catch you on the final episode. Thanks for tuning in.